live Monday through Friday. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 days a week, live at 5. And you can also catch us on Sunday nights as we have our real estate show marathon. And that starts at 9 p.m. Well, we go back to back. You can binge watch, binge listen the real estate show on your Sunday evening. Well, my name is Eric Willner, and we are here now celebrating our 22nd year consecutive. Through good times and bad times, the real estate show has been the guardrails in the marketplace, the light at the end of the tunnel for many investors, and certainly a place where a lot of investors got their start in real estate and learning how to invest in all markets and any markets at any time. Well, we're here because we understand real estate. And each day of the week, Monday through Friday, we start out on our Mondays laying out the agenda, laying out the theme of what we're going to be talking, the overall topic of the week. Then Tuesdays, today, we get down to the brass tacks of what's going on in the real estate market. And we try to share with you some of the actual practical, usable, actionable things that hopefully you'll take some of this stuff with you and go away. And we've been talking about the benefits and the advantages of home ownership now for quite a few weeks. And as I promised today, I'm going to give you the 2021 first-time home buyers free down payment assistance information. And I'm going to be giving out a lot of nitty-gritty. That today is definitely a writer-downer show. So if you're interested in buying real estate and it's your first time, maybe not your first time ever, but your first time in 3 years, that is the modern definition of the real estate first-time home buyers according to all of the lenders. What you got to do is if you haven't owned property in the last 3 years, and many of you who either were forced out by the Great Recession, who may have, or just exited the market, and if you've been out for 3 years, you now qualify for this as well. Now, investors, this is also for you, because as an investor, someone who wants to sell their properties at some point in time for the highest and best possible price, your best buyers are going to be first-time home buyers who are more concerned with being able to buy it and afford the payment than they are about the actual end price. In fact, that's a whole other conversation, what the real price is. So here's the thing. If you want to get information, you want a copy of what I'm talking about, these guidelines that I'm going to hit in just a second, then type the word DPA for down payment assistance, and I'm going to get you a copy of these guidelines that I'm going to go over in just a second. And you're going to text that to our real estate show smart line, 561-861-2366. That's 561-861-2366. Now, remember, our mission here is to educate and empower as many Americans, first-time home buyers, experienced investors, and even just, repeat habitual homeowners out there. Our goal here is to bring you the knowledge and that information. And so you want to jot down that number, because we'll be giving out other text code words for different pieces of information. As many of you who are regular listeners of our radio show, not only are we here live Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. Eastern time, we are also conducting workshops throughout the week. And we do invite you to come to those free workshops. Everything here on the air is absolutely 100% free, no cost, no obligation. All you have to do is make the time. Invest your time. You'll see it a great return on that investment. So what I want to spend some time with, and after the break, I'm going to list out some of the workshops that are still going on this week. And we've just added two new workshops that we're going to be conducting next week. And you're going to love these. One is our university series, which we'll talk a little bit about entrepreneurialism and real estate, how they go hand in glove, and how getting good at one is going to help you to be better at the other, or vice versa. We also are going to have a workshop on this down payment assistance. And we're going to send out invitations to all those people who did text us in the past, and any of you who do it now. And you can do it right now, even while I'm talking. If you text DPA, you're going to be invited to this workshop. So let me give you an example. These first-time home buyers, can qualify for up to 105% of the purchase price of the house. Now, why would anybody need 105% of the purchase price? Well, don't forget, there are closing costs. And so you could actually walk into a property with virtually, and let me just say, because I say it's 100% no money down, and then people will want to bring no money, or they'll want to show that they have no money. That's why I want to go into these nitty gritty guidelines that give you an idea of what's for real. Now, I have guidelines for programs. There's more than a dozen just in my area alone that will satisfy this area. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of these programs across the country. But you got to know the guidelines to be able to get in the front door. In fact, you got to know where they come from in order to find out the guidelines. And let me tell you, these are great programs. These are phenomenal programs. But I'll tell you what they're not phenomenal about is getting the word out there. They are organizations that are out there trying to help the first-time homebuyer, and their source of those homebuyers is always going to be a referral from us, a referral from Habitat for Humanity or any of these other organizations. They are not in the marketing business, so they will not be giving out a ton of information themselves on how to locate them. They don't have fancy and expensive websites. In fact, a lot of the websites are downright boring. And in fact, they may even discourage you from reading them because they look just like text and a lot of reading and numbers and so forth. It is worth investing the time. If you're not going to do it, then call us and we'll direct you. And after a short conversation, we can normally figure out exactly which program will best suit you. So let's start maybe right from the beginning. Typically the long-term out there is a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. And that's considered to be the most conservative, plain vanilla, one of the original. It is a simple, it never changes. You buy the property. They declare what the mortgage payment, and that's the same payment you're going to make 360 months or 30 years in a row. So this is about as simplified as it gets. And for example, we have a 30-year fixed rate, 97%. And let me stop for a second and give you a couple of definitions, which you're going to hear these letters or definitions or these sort of words or jargon that might throw you off. And you go like, well, what did they just say? You'll hear, for example, your DTI, right? And what's my DTI? Is that something that I got during the COVID? No, that's your debt to income ratio. Now, no money down, and here's another point that I want to make, because every once in a while I get these sort of mixed expectations, because I'll talk about very low interest rates on one program, and in a completely different show, I'll talk about no down payment. And then maybe in a different show, I'll be talking about some of our no credit programs. And then someone will say, well, I'm looking for that no credit, no income, and no down payment program. In other words, they're looking for something that doesn't exist. And if you really think about it, it's not very realistic. Remember my conversation last week where there are three main characters that play into getting a mortgage, three factors. Factor number one is your down payment. Zero down payment exists, 5%, 10%, 20%, 30%. Heck, 100% exists. You can have 100% down payment, no loan necessary. So as you can see, the more you need of one, the less you need of the other. So very important factor number one is the down payment. How much can you bring to the table? And there's even an option of how much you may have the money to put down, but you may select. And this is an interesting conversation to have, because there's always a little bit of a give and take. Obviously, if I put less money down, my payment will be higher because I put less money down. But it'll also reflect and might get a little bit higher rate, because the less you put down, the less skin in the game that you have, the higher the risk you are to the lender, and they will charge a higher rate accordingly. So the DTI, which is the debt to income ratio, which means how much debt do you have and how much income do you have, they divide one by the other, and that comes out with a DTI. So you'll be hearing that DTI over and over, debt to income ratio. Learn it, remember it. It's an important factor. LTV is another three letters that you're going to hear over and over, and that's loan to value. The loan to value means is what percentage of the value of the property does the loan represent? If I have $100,000 loan and I put $20,000 down, which is a 20% down payment, my loan to value is 80%. That means I'm going to need a loan which is 80% loan to value of my property price. And so the other variation of the loan to value is the CLTV, not LTV, loan to value, CLTV, which means combined loan to value. And as you can maybe deduct, that means that there's a combination or a combined loan to value, which means maybe there's more than one loan, a first loan and a second loan. And then we'll find out whether you can, there was that one time where you could have 100% because you put a 80% first mortgage, a 20% second mortgage. And now, as you can imagine, you didn't have to put any money down other than the closing cost. Don't forget, there's something called closing costs. There's a cost to every transaction. Even when you go to the supermarket, there's a cost to that transaction. There's sales tax, etc. So on a 30-year fixed rate, 97% LTV first mortgage, which means 95%. You can finance 95% of the purchase. You can get up to 8%. And if you add 97 plus 8%, you can get either an 8% second mortgage, and this is Fannie Mae approved. This is it adapts to Fannie Mae guidelines for closing costs. So 97 plus 8% is 105. Combined loan to value, you are now in a property, no money down. Now, do you think about this before we go into our break. Do you think that a lender will give somebody 105% loan if they know that that person has no money reserve in the bank in case of a hiccup 1 month? And the answer, hopefully you answered, the answer is no. There is no such thing as a free lunch. And so they're going to be asking you to have some reserves. And so in all of these programs, remember the three factors I started telling you about is the down payment, right? And so they want to know, where's the money coming from? Do you have money in your bank account for the down payment? Do you have money in your bank account for a couple of months of reserves? And each program has a little bit different requirement. Then you have the loan, right? And which is a function of credit. You have to have a credit score for all of these programs that I'm talking about. When someone's going to be willing to give you a high percentage, they're going to be expecting to show that you can show that you have a very good payment history. And we'll talk about that if you're not there, we can show you exactly how to remember what I talked about, the credit report pop that we can do, the credit report x-ray. And again, if you missed that one and you want to learn about how do I pop my credit score a little bit with an x-ray, type in the word x-ray to 561-861-2366. That's 561-861-2366. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. I just gave you one, and I have a list of about 20 different programs right here. If you're within earshot of where I'm talking, these 20 programs apply to you. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, hear a few words from our sponsors. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to The Real Estate Show here on our Tools, Tips, and Techniques Tuesdays, and we will be right back. So you got a nice crowd here on our Facebook page. Erica Marie, thank you for putting the number there in the comments on Facebook. That's great. I appreciate that very much. And that's only one of the 1,000,001 things I appreciate about you. Felipe, hopefully I'll see you and talk to you tomorrow night. Jack Beck is there. I'm going to see Jack Beck tomorrow at 11. I got your confirmation. So good for that. Denisa Boncancel. That's a new face, a new name for me. Welcome to our Facebook transmission. Hope you become a regular. Moawad El Rey is watching. That's a familiar name. Good to see you again. And Philip from Georgia. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us, you are listening to The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate, America's longest running show about real estate, and where investors come to get the right information, the newest and the most current information. Now we're still waiting for, in fact, and by the way, tomorrow I'm going to share with you where exactly we are. Wednesdays is our midweek report. So I'll be sharing with you the latest news and what's going on in the real estate market, in the down payment assistant arena, because this is a really hot topic for us. We want to make sure that we are always up to date, very current on this information. And you'll find things that we have here. Remember, I said, and I still stand by my comment, that if you can qualify to rent a property today, it means you have the income to qualify. If you had the credit to qualify, if you had the first, last, and security to qualify, there's absolutely no reason, except for one, there's absolutely no reason why you can't own a home instead of paying rent and basically fulfilling somebody else's American dream. And that is because you don't want to. You're not willing to make the effort, or you just plain simple don't want all the benefits that I've been talking about for the last, 6 weeks that I've been talking about, all the benefits of home ownership. And I'm going to tell you that as you watch the market continue to march forward, and I'm also been telling you, even while everybody was predicting a real estate crash, because of the COVID, they predicted a real estate crash because of the unemployment. And here we are with, yesterday I talked about record sales. We have now beat the record for the pre-bubble, and without there being the danger of a bubble right now. You've got a demographic force that is still growing, not shrinking, it's not frothing at the top. It is growing flat out. You have economic forces. You've got the lowest interest rates with no sign of them rising anytime this year. The prediction is this year we're going to keep low. So don't wait till the end of the year, by the way, when we start warning you, and it may even come without warning, that interest rates are going up and you're going to say, oh man, I should have. And there's no sadder words that I hear in the real estate market. Boy, if I'd only known then, I would have. When we talk about it, you can look back at recordings for years of me telling you what's happening. I'm not saying that I can predict everything that happens, but there's certain things that the numbers are so strong and confirmed in so many different ways that you would be foolish not to take advantage of under 3% rates. In fact, I also want to tell you as a side note that interest rate is not interest cost. And we talked about that last night. We had our equity accelerator workshop. We talked a lot about the interest rate is not what the interest charge. Most people don't understand the interest that they were charged because they signed on to an interest rate, not understanding the real workings of interest rates. So back to the down payment, because I only have a limited amount of time today in our show, but the same program that I explained for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage is also available for a 15-year fixed rate mortgage. Now, a lot of these guidelines have a maximum that you can borrow over and above the first mortgage. And in this case, for this particular 2021 program, the maximum borrowable amount for the down payment or as a second mortgage is $36,240. You should remember that number. Now, the neat thing about this, because usually the lower that you put down, the higher the mortgage insurance is. And on this program, the program is available with no upfront mortgage insurance premium required, which some of them, FHA, for example, has a large upfront mortgage insurance premium, which they roll into the closing cost. But that's why even with an FHA mortgage that's not 0% down, they could actually end up with a loan higher than what the purchase price was. In fact, that's frequently the case. This program gets you around that higher upfront mortgage insurance premium and still has you putting little to no money down. Now, again, I want to disprove or disavow the myth that these are for any credit. When you're getting a high loan to value product, whether it be a mortgage or this down payment assistance, they will look at your credit score. Again, hate to be the I told you so guy, but this is why 2 nights out of the week, 2 nights out of the week, we're helping individuals. And some of them learned the hard way. They went first to apply, and then they came back because they needed a credit boost. And then they came back to our workshops to work on credit. If you're interested, if you want to go ahead and tackle the credit issue up front, which I recommend, then type the word credit to 561-861-2366. You can find that number also in the comments on our Facebook live transmission. Every one of these shows is recorded also on our Facebook page at The Real Estate Show on Facebook, and you can go there. You can listen to these shows again over and over to make sure you caught all the details, and you can see the numbers and some of the notes there in the comments. Now, this program can be used in all Florida counties. Today, I'm talking just about Florida programs, but I've got them across the country. I was looking at some Nevada programs, Texas, one of my favorite real estate markets, which was covered in snow today. But Texas has great programs for down payment assistance. So they're a great place. If you're interested in Texas real estate, you definitely want to talk to us there. Now, this program that I'm talking about is for single family residents. Now, it can work for a condo, a townhouse, but this is not for investment properties. Okay, this down payment assistance that I'm talking about today is not for investment properties. They will also not allow it on a mobile home, a manufactured home, and again, not on multi-family properties, but single family, condos, townhouses, all good, all good. Now, one of the little techniques, and you've got to have either a good realtor that knows how to negotiate this, or someone like myself who knows how to put these deals together, but there's something called seller contribution. And we can often, when we have these programs, imagine a 97% loan or a 100% loan, but we still have closing costs. Sometimes we can build up the price, include the down payment in there, have the seller contribute, pay the closing costs at closing, but he gets it back in the purchase price. So buyers, and by the way, what I said right now, openly here on the air, is 100%. I won't talk about anything that's not 100% legal. And the seller contribution is documented. It's on the closing statement. Everybody knows about it. The banks, the buyer, the seller, the title company, everybody is full disclosure. Buyers can pay, sellers can pay closing costs as well. There's no targeted areas specifically for this loan program, so it's not neither worse nor better in any one location. All locations are equally treated under this. This is, right now, the one I'm talking about here is for purchases only. There's no construction or construction to permanent loans. This is a regular, good, vanilla 30-year or 15-year mortgage. Owner occupants, remember I said not investors, no non-owner occupied, or co-signers allowed. No investors allowed. You will need 2 years of tax returns for this program. So remember that. Remember I said, let's not mix up all these different benefits. No income verification is not no down payment, is not no credit. So depending on what you want, give us a call. If you have any doubts, then just type the word discovery to 561-861-2366, or visit us and ask us any question either on our Facebook page or on our website, which our main website is automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. Well, that's the music. It means I'm out of time. We'll be back here, same place, same time tomorrow. Until then, drive safe, wash those hands, and make it a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you. And the quality of the sound was good. There was no hollowness or anything with the new headset. Bit of a noise. Like a